Time for an album review right here on ARTV. My name is John. Please make sure you check out all the links down below to stay informed on everything Twitter, Facebook, website coming soon. So please make sure you check out everything down below. Today I'm reviewing the debut album by Atlas Genius. It's called When It Was Now, and it was preceded by the lead single Trojans. Atlas Genius is an indie rock band from Australia that formed in 2011 and is a part of the new alternative rock, or just rock in general, movement, I believe. Bands like M83, Imagine Dragons, Goldfields, A Silent Film, Capital Cities, and even Alt-J, in addition to Atlas Genius, are part of what's defining this new movement in alternative music. And that movement is a movement towards a more electronic tinged sound, fused with traditional rock and alternative elements like obviously guitars, acoustic guitars, and, bass and drums mixed in with the flying electronics and synths in the background. We can either accept that alternative music is constantly becoming more and more electronically tinged, or we can walk away from the genre. I'm choosing to be accepting and, enjoying of this new style of alternative music found by a lot of the bands that I mentioned. Atlas Genius is one of the reasons that decision is so easy for me to just, accept that times are changing, and while I always will still have all of my past music that I love more than anything, music is always going to keep growing and changing, and Atlas Genius has made a record that makes it very easy for people to get into the new generation of alternative. Atlas Genius easily combine elements of indie rock and alternative music and fuse them together seamlessly with these electronic elements that I was talking about. Many of the songs on this record do feature like flying synths and electronics in the background, reminiscent of older styles of music and electronic music. What I think that people tend to forget is that just because an album or a track may be electronically tinged, it doesn't necessarily mean it's not rock and it's not rock and roll. Rock and roll and rock in general is just an attitude, a state of mind. It doesn't mean that it's not rock and roll, because these songs are still very solid lyrically, and I'm not just speaking of Atlas Genius and their album When It Was Now, I'm speaking of the alternative scene in general, because I feel like one thing that has stayed constant for sure in the alternative genre is the quality of lyrics. Two wonderful examples of the blended genres thing I was talking about here on this record in particular are the songs If So and Electric. Electric, okay, that one's pretty obvious, but they definitely have some really cool sounds found in them. I found these songs in particular to be extremely catchy, my two favorites overall on the album, and they're just so creative and new, but at the same time they sound a little bit familiar and, not something that would like alienate me from the music scene or anything like that. It's something that I can relate to, but I can have fun to at the same time. This album definitely draws the listener in on the first two tracks that I just mentioned. There's a lot of really cool moments on this album, like the guitar parts on Backseat that sound really cool with the way the vocal melodies go, or just the catchiness and strength of the single Trojans. The guitars range from electric to straight up acoustic at times, and it's mixed in with some simple but catchy drum beats. It makes for a winning combination for sure, with all the electronic elements as well. The lead single off of the album, Trojans, is a song that's been in existence since 2011 when the band formed. It's the lead single, their debut single, and it's helped gain the band a lot of fame. But it's a song that actually took a while to grow on me. I listened to it a few times. Every time I heard it mentioned or something by someone, or someone suggested it to me, I would check it out. Over the course of about 6 months, I heard it a few times. But really, once I got it in the context of an album, I just see how much of a key track it really is, and it adds so much to the album. One of the most solid overall. Symptoms is the song that pushed me over the edge into checking out this record. iTunes is giving it away for free right now if you want to check that out. There's a lot of cool things about this track, especially the keyboard parts and the way that the guitar fits so perfectly with the pacing of the chorus. It's definitely one of the highlights of the album and a great closer to the album. Through Glass and Centered on You are two tracks that I also enjoy, especially for the vocals, Centered on You being my more favorite out of those two tracks. I think that even though they might not catch the ear right off the bat, if you give them a few listens, they're definitely going to grow on you, and you can see the cool musicianship on these tracks. Centered on You is one that I've really been vibing on the more times I've listened to it. Both tracks definitely have enough draw to them to make the listener come back though, as does most of this album. On a Day has one of the most solid choruses on the entire album in my opinion. I love the guitar break after the second chorus that's filled with a mix of guitars and ambient electronics. Don't Make a Scene is the final track that I wanted to touch on. The chorus and the sound of this song just sounds very dance influenced to me, and once again it does a great job of blending different genres. The key tracks on this record and my personal favorites are Electric, Trojans, If So, On a Day, Symptoms, Backseat, and All These Girls. Those are my personal choices. There's a few tracks that I don't enjoy quite as much. The title track of the album is the least enjoyable for me. Something feels a little bit off about that one. It just doesn't have as much draw to it. It doesn't make me coming back for more, wanting to hear more from that track, so that's probably my least overall. And there's things that I could say negatively about this album. Sure, at times I forget which song I'm on. Some of them kind of run together for me, but overall this is a very impressive debut record. I found the album to be a very nice surprise, and almost every track on it is enjoyable, like I said. I definitely suggest it for fans of any of the bands that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, or just alternative fans in general. It's getting a 4 out of 5 from me. What did you guys think? Did you listen to it yet? Have you heard of this band? Do you want to check them out, or do you hate it? Let me know in the comments section down below. What should I review next? Let me know down there as well. I will see you guys very soon. Hoodie Allen, How to Destroy Angels, a lot of other reviews on the way. Make sure you check Beyond ARTV 2. That's where the Hoodie Allen review is going to be, since it's a mixtape. So please make sure you subscribe here, there, and all the links down below. I will see you guys very soon. Thanks so much for watching and for all the support, guys. Album Review TV, Beyond the Reviews.